After spending 3 years in the Western Medical Sciences program before going off to medical school, I feel it's only right to share my experience. With so much interest in the program from high school students hoping to go to medical school, I want to clear up what the program is like as well as the opportunities that Western and London has for students looking to develop their applications for medical school. The Medical Sciences program is a 4-year undergraduate program. Although your degree when you graduate will give you the letters BMSc after your name, it is no different than any other general science or life science degree. I have heard the occasional student mention that they're studying medicine when doing a medical sciences degree. Either they're confused or just looking to flex on friends and family. Now you understand that this program is a science degree where your area of study is the life sciences as opposed to something like physics or chemistry. Alternative degrees at universities such as the University of Toronto, McMaster, or Queen's would be their life sciences programs. The differences between these degrees mainly lies in the opportunities they present for specialization, as well as the universities that they're located in themselves. The differences in the university includes things such as libraries, gyms, and other facilities, different ways for online learning, as well as opportunities for research and the types of research that those universities are particularly good at doing. All of these things should be considered beyond the program alone when making your decision on where to go for your undergraduate degree. To get an idea of what the university itself is like, I recommend booking a tour whenever that becomes possible. See for yourself if you like the city as well as the campus, as you'll probably be spending a number of years there. The main reason why I chose this program was because of the number of opportunities it gave me to specialize, and those specializations can happen in so many different areas that I found were more plentiful than other life sciences type programs. Some of the specializations are found at pretty much any life sciences program, such as physiology, pharmacology, and biochemistry. However, Western has a large number of specializations for you to choose from, many of which are not available at any other university. One example of this is the epidemiology program at Western, which is a specialization within medical sciences. To my knowledge, it's the only undergraduate program in epidemiology in all of Canada. A number of my friends went into the epidemiology program and were happy that they did because it gave them the opportunity to develop analytical skills as early as possible that would be used to benefit health. I went into the One Health specialization, which is an approach to public health that looks at the interactions between humans, animals, and their shared environment and how that impacts health. This included studying diseases such as Ebola, COVID-19, and rabies, which had their origins in animals before spreading to humans. This was right in the wheelhouse of what I wanted to be studying, which made me passionate to do well. One Health is also a fairly unique specialization to Western, where only one other university in Canada has started to develop a similar program. Both the epidemiology and One Health specializations had fairly small cohorts. Having these smaller specializations gave me the opportunity to become friends with everyone within my program, as well as get to know my professors really well. Having this sense of community within the program was not only great for my personal well-being, but also in being able to develop connections with my professors, which sparked research projects. Overall, specializations at Western give you a chance to find out what you're passionate about and spend more time learning about it. The way I see it, if you're interested in what you're learning, you're more likely to succeed in it. In regards to the structure of the program itself, during the first 2 years of the program, you're mainly taking general science courses before your 3rd and 4th years are spent in a specialization. General science courses include topics like general chemistry, biology, physics, cell biology, and organic chemistry, as well as many other courses. I must say that despite class sizes being large for the first 2 years, I thought the majority of the professors were excellent, which is often not the case at larger universities where hiring decisions are made based on research acumen rather than teaching proficiency. One of my favorite professors in my first 2 years was my organic chemistry professor, Dr. Workington. He was able to make organic chemistry make sense and fun, which is rarely something you hear about organic chemistry. In my first and second years, I was very eager to start my specialization. At the time, I thought there were way too many general science courses, and I had wished that my specialization could start immediately. However, looking back, if I wanted to apply to medical schools in the United States, I would have needed these courses anyways as prerequisites. The MCAT also tests you on many of the same topics taught in the Western general science curriculum, which makes it much easier when studying for the MCAT. I was able to score in the 99th percentile on both science sections of the MCAT. And I think that the science curriculum at Western University set me up with the fundamentals to do that. You may have heard of Western as a party school, and partying is definitely a huge part of the school culture. If you're like me and you're not into partying, you may find that it takes longer to find a friend group because of that. The only downside in terms of teaching that I could think of was the introductory physics courses. I started my degree without taking a single physics course in high school, and I found that the teaching of physics at Western was absolutely awful. The professors start off assuming you have a significant background in physics. This left me finding the lectures to be way more confusing than helpful. I'm the kind of person who goes to every single lecture, and physics was the exception to that because of how awful the lecturing was. Instead, I opted to spend my time reading the course textbook instead of attending class. Additionally, the examinations tested us at a level that was beyond the practice questions we were exposed to. Complaints about these courses were widespread every year that I was at Western. And I would have to say that the introductory physics courses were probably the hardest courses I took at Western. So although the majority of courses at Western are taught extremely well, physics was definitely an exception. I recommend taking physics in high school, even if it isn't mandatory for admission. I want to be candid about one last aspect of the program. Although most students go into medical sciences with the dream of medical school, a generous estimate would be that around 20 to 30% of students who graduate from the program actually end up in medical school. While I don't think you should take that number at face value, as statistics can be complex, it is something to consider when applying to this program. Because of that, you need to consider what it takes to find a job after graduating with a medical sciences degree. It can be difficult to find a job with an undergraduate degree alone, especially one in the sciences. Job prospects with a medical sciences degree are definitely limited and could include things such as research, big pharma, or potentially consulting. Most medical sciences students will end up deciding to do some further education after their undergrad. This includes things like medical school, other professional schools, as well as masters or PhDs. So it's important to consider that in doing a medical sciences or life sciences degree, that you are not going to be studying for just 4 years. You're more likely to be studying for longer before becoming employed. The next thing I'd like to touch on is the competitiveness that occurs throughout being a medical sciences student. The process of becoming a medical sciences student is more convoluted than you may think. The process starts off in high school when you're a grade 12 student and applying through the Ontario University's Application Centre for Western's medical sciences program. Let's say that you have an average of mid-90s in your required courses and you get an early acceptance in December. You accept your offer and start in September of the new year. At this point, you're actually starting off as a general sciences student with medical sciences first entry status. Every year at Western, you must redeclare your major by around March, and that involves a whole new application process. The medical sciences program only actually starts in your third year when you start a specialization. Prior to that, you need to meet some requirements in your first and second year to maintain that first entry status. The first entry status gives you an advantage when applying to specializations going into your third year. In your first year, the requirements are that you're taking a full course load in every semester, meaning 5 courses per semester. You have a grade of at least 60% in every first year required course without retaking that course, and you have at least a passing grade of 50% in all other courses. In second year, the requirements are different, and you have to take a full course load of 5 courses in the fall and winter semesters, pass any course or courses that you're taking in the summer, and maintain an overall average of at least 80% in your second year required courses. If you meet all the requirements in your first and second year, then you'll be admitted to the medical sciences program going into your third year. From there, you can apply for different specializations that you will start in third year. The applications for getting into a specialization are completely based on your course grades in the required courses for a particular specialization. Students who have first entry status are admitted to specializations based on who has the highest grade, starting from students with the highest grades and going down until there are either no applications or no spots left. If there are spots left after first entry students have had their pick, then students without first entry status are admitted based on who has the highest grades. Now that you're in third year, the elimination process is still not over. You must complete your required courses with a minimum average of 75% to progress into fourth year. There are still a limited number of spots in fourth year, and who continues in a particular specialization is again determined by who has the highest average. As you can see, the program requires you to continue to maintain high marks to keep your spot. Although this may seem like a negative thing, I personally like this as it gave me a short-term motivation to succeed in addition to my desire to get into medical school. The last thing I want to touch on is what the City of London and Western are like for students looking to expand their extracurriculars. London is great if you're looking to do some traditional pre-med extracurriculars since there are so many hospitals within the city. There are also tons of researchers affiliated with the hospitals and Western University that you could become involved with. In general, London is fairly easy to get around by bus, and I personally didn't have a car throughout the entire 3 years I was living there. Because London is a medium-sized Canadian city, there are so many different ways to get involved with improving the community. Western also has over 180 different clubs, including one that I started. Shout out to the Western One Health Club. Because there are so many, these clubs cater to a huge variety of different interests and present some great opportunities to get involved in leadership. You can also start your own club if you want to develop your teamwork and leadership skills starting from the deep end. Overall, I found no scarcity of extracurricular activities at Western or in London. This makes it a great place to find exactly what you're hoping to get involved in. I hope this video has helped answer some of your questions about Western's medical sciences program. Let me know if you're applying to Western in the comments, and I'll also be happy to answer any questions I didn't address in this video. You can also check out some of my other videos if you're looking to improve your chances at getting admitted to a Canadian medical school. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.